I want to say one other thing about Kittle. And again, you got to remember, Iggy, I don't know these people anymore. I've never met Kittle. When I first was exposed to him on television and various interviews, he struck me as a really happy-go-lucky guy. I just loved to be in the league. And what was he, a fifth-round draft choice?
Yes. Yes.
And this is the greatest, et cetera, et cetera. In addition, he became the go-to guy in interviews.
Yes.
Like often it's the quarterback,
Right.
Steve Young, who would be the go-to guy. Vernon Davis was the go-to guy, right? He was quite talkative, bright, and honest, a very honest guy, Vernon Davis. I think that with Kittle, as he's beginning to decline, he is no longer the go-to guy.
No.
He's not on the field enough. He's not productive enough. And I would also say, I'm not even sure about the happy-go-lucky thing. That may have been a persona.
Yeah.
He strikes me actually as maybe there are other parts of his personality, maybe, that are different and maybe even a little darker.
I would think so. It's how he markets himself. He comes across as like Hulk Hogan, which is fun. It's fun to have a football star kind of play up his personality like a WWF wrestler. But I think after being exposed to it for 5-6 years, it does come across as a character.
As a character that he presents.
So it's like when you ask him a question at a press conference, it's like it's kind of a performance. You're not really getting a straight answer. He's trying to be funny. It's like, all right, well, I've seen this act for a long time. Like at this point, if I really want the answer to a question from someone on the offense, I'm talking to Trent Williams. Trent Williams is the greatest. Yeah,
that's it. So what we're coming to is Kittle was the voice of the offense and maybe of the team for a while, and God love him for it.
Yeah.
No longer.
No.
Trent Williams is a better player.
Yes.
He's more resilient. He's more articulate. He may even be brighter.
He's not, and he's more authentic. He's not playing a character at all. He's just himself. And he's very comfortable in his skin, and he's 35 years old.
Iggy, you admire him, don't you?
Extremely. I would call him, he's like Super Joe Staley. Everything we liked about Joe Staley, Trent Williams is like that plus.
Oh gosh,
yes,
that's a great comparison.
Yes, and that's nothing against Joe, but Trent is just amazing. He's terrific. We gave him the Gary Niver Award last year. He split it with Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy was in a tough situation, but I voted for Trent. I'm just saying.
Please remind people what the Gary Niver Award is.
The Gary Niver Award goes to the player who was the best with the media that year. We vote for it, and Gary Niver was on the beat. In the 80s and 90s, he passed away.
Yeah, he's for the San Mateo Times.
Yes. Anyway, Trent Williams, I voted for. It was an easy decision. Trent Williams. It would be him, Jimmy Ward. Those are the two guys.
Iggy, it's called the Gary Niver Good Guy Award.
The Gary Niver Good Guy Award.
Because Gary Niver was the ultimate good guy.
Yes. And this is an award that Joe Staley's won. Alex Smith has won. So Trent Williams won it.
Very interesting.
Yes. So, no question.
So he's become sort of the voice of the offense. I'm surprised that Juszczyk isn't another one, but he maybe because of the position he plays.
He actually can. Like, what's nice about Kyle Juszczyk is he'll go to the podium and know he's not going to get very many questions about himself. He'll stand up there and answer questions about everyone, the quarterback, the running back, the defense, and he's happy to do it, and he's really smart. So you got to give him credit for that. Very patient and very smart, and he's going up there to talk about other people most of the time, 85% of the time.
And so his ego doesn't get in the way.
Exactly. Other players, it would. Like, hey, can we talk about me, please? Which is
absolutely
fair.
In fact, I think most of them would feel that way.
I might feel that way. Absolutely.
Iggy, on the defense, is there a spokesperson on the defense?
Jimmy Ward. Now, Fred Warner. But again, Fred Warner he's like 24, 25. And when he's up there, he's very good. But he also is like, it's almost like listening to a coach talk. It's like saying the right thing all the time. Jimmy Ward's not like that at all. Jimmy Ward curses. Jimmy Ward's candid. Jimmy Ward's funny. Jimmy Ward's like listening to a boxer before a fight. He's great. Jimmy Ward.
Mayweather Jr.
Yeah, or like Draymond. He's just so candid. It's like, can you say that? Athletes don't say that. Thank you, Jimmy. More people should be like, I love Jimmy Ward. He's great. Yeah. He kind of sort of found this side of his personality. I don't know if he didn't find. He just decided to express it recently, last few years, publicly.
No one knew how charming, how funny. He has great timing.
Oh,
great.
Yes. He has phenomenal timing. So I would say the voices of the team are Trent Williams, Jimmy Ward, Fred Warner, and to a lesser extent, George Kittle. To a lesser,
And it may be declining.
it may be declining. What was really interesting about Trent Williams, to come to the voice of the team, he was the one person who really seemed to be like a leader on the Deebo thing. Everyone's asking about Deebo, and everyone's afraid to talk about it, including Kyle and John Lynch. Trent Williams is like, I'm real close with Deebo. He can always call me. Of course, I would never call him and tell him what to do. I respect his business, but he has called me. And he didn't say what he talked about, but then later in the conversation, he's like, well, I think it's really important that Deebo's here at minicamp because it shows his maturity. It sounds like he's kind of talked to him like, hey, man, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're making people think you're not mature. You need to change the perception of yourself right now because that's going to cost you money. Why do you think no other teams were trying to trade for you during the draft? Come on, man. Because no one questions Trent Williams' maturity, right? He's above reproach in every single way, and he knows it. And that's why he's made all this money. And I think he's trying to show Deebo, hey, man, you want to make money like me? You got to be like me. This is how you do it. Yeah.
So he's the wise old head who's in the locker room, who's modeling for young people who like Deebo.
And what's great about him is like he has the maturity of someone in his late 30s, but the athleticism in the game of someone in their late 20s. So he has the perspective and he has the game to back it up. Sometimes there will be like a coach in the locker room who's not that good anymore. And it's like, listen, dude, it's not your team anymore. Don't tell me what to do because you can't even take care of your own. Worry about your own business at this point in your career. That's not Trent. I think, there's that Pro Football Focus. They grade players. It's an inexact science, but they gave him the highest grade last year they've ever given anyone. He's that good.
So. It's interesting when you say take care of your own game. Late in his baseball career, when Joe Morgan, rest in peace, went to the A's, he tried to be a leader. They had nothing that they would listen to him.
Right.
You can't produce. They wouldn't listen to him. Just you take care of your own game. It's professional sports are ruthless.
Yeah. We're not the Reds. This isn't 1973. I don't know what you thought this was.
Exactly. Yeah. And
you
so I
really have loved Trent Williams.
I would love to talk to him, right?
Yes. Very patient, very smart, twinkle in his eye, sense of humor, verbal, really good.
And let's say one of the reasons he is because he's an offensive lineman.
Always.
Let me say, and you got to know this, it's the least glamorous position except for kicker, I guess, on a team. But they are the ones who understand the game better than everyone, who can articulate what's going on. They're the ones you want to know, the offensive linemen. Would you agree, Iggy?
Yeah, but it's like they're the biggest players in the field too, and they're like the least aggressive.
That's right.
A lot of the time. It's weird because that sport is full of some really aggressive people, especially the smaller ones. Like those DBs are my size, but they use their body to just destroy you. Ronnie Lott. I mean, these guys are there to uphold order and make sure things don't get too crazy. They're like the bouncers at the club. So it's like no one can really hurt me. And I can sort of do whatever I want, but I'm here they have a very calm, peaceful demeanor, and they can sort of, I don't know, tell you what's going on.
I mean, you went from DBs to back.
I'm talking about offensive linemen. Sorry. They're the biggest ones on the field. They have a calm, peaceful demeanor, and it seems like they can sort of articulate what's happening in the big picture.
Absolutely. When I was writing about the Niners, the ones I would always go to first would be the offensive linemen, always. Yeah. And they're the ones that you can imagine going out to dinner with and not talking about them. You wouldn't have to talk about their hamstring, right? Or their contract.
No, you might talk about something that's, a movie or a show or something
or
normal.
A book they're reading.
Or a book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew Sanders says, Grant, each time you criticize something in Lance, they worked on it the next day. This is true. Either they are watching you or they are doing a great job developing. I don't know what it was, but I like that I could bring something up and say, Lance is doing good, but he hasn't done this yet. And then either it's a coincidence or he wants to come back and show you the next day, hey, how about this? What do you think of that? Oh, I can't throw deep. Here's two in your face. I love that. That's the kind of competitor I like.
Iggy, here's what I want. I can't prove this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the Niners have someone dedicated to watching your videos and taking notes.
I think the players all watch, including Trey. I mean, a lot of the players have made it pretty clear that they watch. I think they want to know what the criticism is. They want to know what people are pointing to, and they want to address it. And with Lance, I made it pretty clear, like, hey, you're playing well today in camp, but you're being safe. You haven't hit any deep throws, and you're supposed to be the guy with the arm. You're supposed to be the guy who extends this offense. And the next day, I saw him warming up, playing long toss. I'm like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
You a nickel. He owes you a nickel.
And then the first series, he doesn't do it. In the second series, boom, boom, back to back touchdowns. It was like, wow, nice, well done. I appreciated it. It was good.
Let's move on to the next topic. Iggy, I got to tell you, my printer isn't working.
Really?
So I had to write stuff out that you sent. But you'll come over maybe in the next week, and maybe something got disconnected, or
maybe you need a new printer. They don't last forever.
Oh, he's talking Brooklyn now. They don't last forever, darling.
They don't last forever.